Well, we have to get right into it. Free agency. Made any decisions about your future?
I haven't yet. Obviously, I feel like I'm back healthy again. I want to play a couple more years. I feel like I got that in me. I would like to have a chance to win it again. You know, I want to be playing this weekend as opposed to being up here, which is fun. But I want y'all to be talking about me. I want him to be talking about how old I am out there.
Okay, let's get to it, man. Number one, when you say that you want a shot, does that mean you want to stay with the Clippers?
You know what? I enjoyed it there. Obviously, that team is going to be under some new leadership up at the top, at the head coaching position. So I'm watching with an eagle eye to see what happens. But we got good talent there. We'll just have to see what happens.
Is remaining a Clipper the priority?
I want to win, man. I want to win. I think they're going the right direction. I think that they can take that next step. And I would like to, if they want to do that, take that step with them. But if not,
why didn't they take the next step this year? I had them getting to the Western Conference Finals at the beginning of the year. I thought with the talent that they had, knew you were coming back, assumed that you would be healthy, and that the combination of you and Chris Paul would be what would be needed in order to advance to the NBA, to the Western Conference Finals. And then I started hearing a bunch of stuff about Blake Griffin. And obviously there's some questions about him and his toughness. I'll be nice today, and I won't elaborate. I'll leave it at that. I'm asking you, why didn't y'all get deeper into the playoffs?
Well, first of all, I think that the combination with myself and Chris would have been lethal as well, but I was never able to really get healthy, never able to get my rhythm and play and do what I do. So I think that hurt us. I felt like that could have been a big plus for us, but I was never able to get there. I think overall, we failed to really do the detailed, small, and tangible things that help you get to this point in the season. We had all the talent, the athleticism, all of that. But when you don't do the small things, at some point they're going to show up, and they did.
What is missing in Blake's game to this point in his growth?
Well, I think that, Blake, he just got so much so young, and he is such a phenomenal athlete, and I'm telling you, there's nobody that works harder than Blake Griffin. He's at the gym sweating before anybody even get to the gym. So he's a tireless worker, and I think that the deficiencies that everybody talk about that he has, he will wipe those off the slate. It's just going to take time. It's just going to take a little time. And I think that, he also needs a veteran down low to help him, to push him along a little faster.
As opposed to DeAndre.
I think that, he's going to need some help down low from a veteran, such as that's been a really good player in the league that can kind of show him and teach him. I think DeAndre needs the same thing.
I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot here, but there are certain things that simply can't be ignored. So just correct me if I'm wrong about anything. This is what they're saying about Blake Griffin. He works very, very hard. He's incredibly talented. He's a decent dude. But at the same time, he's relatively soft. That if you get physical with him, he wants no part of that whatsoever. And as a result, the Zach Randolphs of the world, who got ejected for telling them about himself in the Western Conference Finals, we can't repeat what he said over FCC airwaves. Those sentiments that were expressed to his face is what dudes who are physical in this league say about Blake Griffin, and the primary reason why the Clippers won't go very far without getting him help. Can you explain if there's any truth to that?
I don't agree that Blake Griffin is soft. Mm-hmm. But what I will say about Blake is that he's maybe too nice of a guy, because there's been times in games where people take shots at Blake, and I tell them, if that's me, you're gonna have to take these 2 or 3 game suspension, and I'm gonna punish somebody. That's just how I'm built. You know what I mean? And Blake
and Chris Paul.
And Blake is not really built like that. He's just too soft, and he's too soft of a guy inside for him to be like, all right, I'm just going to hurt somebody. He just won't do it. I wish he would, and I think that people would look at him a lot different if he did that. But he's just not that kind of person, man. But I would never say that he was a soft player.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about the softness inside in terms of he's too nice of a guy. He don't want to retaliate. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So we should say he's too nice of a guy then, because we can't say that he's just soft. Soft is a bad term
I agree with that.
for an athlete.
I agree with that, but the only reason I use that word is because that's what the opposition is saying. That's the word they're using.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could think about is when I was not a Clipper and I didn't play with Blake. And my perception of him was he's a great athlete, and he competed really hard out there, and I never thought that, yeah, he's soft.
Gotcha.
And I can say that about a lot of
That's
players,
fair.
but I wouldn't say that about
That's
Blake
fair.
Griffin.
Let me ask Chauncey about coaching. Denver columnist Mark Kisla just wrote that the man who should replace George Karl as the head coach of the Denver Nuggets is the Denver native, Chauncey Billups. Would you be interested?
I mean, I would never say never to anything, Skip, but I mean, my desire has always been kind of front office, put the team together, hire the coach, and be kind of behind the scenes. That's always been my desire. Can I coach? I'm probably sure that I'm pretty much coaching now a little bit, so I'm pretty sure that I could.
Yep.
But my desire has always kind of been behind the snes and
Skip?
to be able to put the team together.
Chauncey, let me co-sign that. Chauncey Billups don't need to be a head coach in the NBA. Him having to talk to the media every day. I mean, he's a very, very nice guy. so having to deal with us every day, I think would be a little bit too much today. He's tailor-made for front office material, no doubt about it. But let me ask you this last question. Jason Kidd and the Brooklyn Nets are talking. Does anybody in today's game with today's player, should anybody be a head coach without ever being an assistant at all on the NBA level?
I think that's tough. The one thing I will say, if anybody can do it, I would say Jason can. I mean, because obviously as a point guard, he's coaching anyway. And I think, to be honest with you, now is a time when we got to start getting some young blood to sit in that top seat, people that can relate to the guys, can speak the language, because I think the league is younger now.
Yeah. And
they're going to have guys like Jason Kidd. I like to see Jacques Bond going up there, and Brian Shaw hopefully will get a chance.
He does deserve a chance.
A guy like Tyronn Lue, who's been studying under Doc Rivers, get a chance. Like some of our era guys are
I
going to
think
start
Aaron McKee should get the job in Philly.
Aaron McKee. It's going to have to be some of the guys now that can relate to some of these kids that they're trying to write off. These hard mentality, DeMarcus Cousins. You need some young blood in there to start to be able to teach these guys.
Chris Paul staying with the Clippers?
I think so.